Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not welcome back to the Smallville Retrospective. We're on Season 2, Episode 9. Episode 9, Dichotic. The special guest stars Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Emmanuel Vauger. Vauger? This episode concerns a meteor freak that can split himself into two because, once again, going off of what the characteristic of the person that's infected is that this guy likes to stretch himself too thin. And so he's able to create and be in two places at once. His name is Ian, and he's played by JTT. And so, something I want to call out quick before I forgot about it is JTT's acting in this. He talks kind of like this. And I don't know why he talks like this. He has that talk where he can talk like this. I don't know. It's a weird acting choice, I guess. I guess maybe he's trying to be a little antagonistic and cocky because he's only a sophomore. He's the same age as everyone else, but he's only a sophomore, and he's already planning on going to college the next year. He wants the Luther Corp scholarship. Yeah, and so that's the main plot is concerning Ian, and he is going after both Chloe and Lana because they're, Chloe's helping him with an interview for the Torch to kind of put him out there, help him get the Luther Corp scholarship, but also Lana is also helping him get good grades, and that, kind of puts Clark in a spot as he's trying to warn them, but they both see him as jealous Clark and don't listen to him, which, in the B plot, there's a B plot and a C plot here, but in the B plot, Lex is forced to go to a anger management class after an incident we'll talk about in a minute, and where he interacts with Dr. Helen Bryce, played by Emmanuel Vauger. He doesn't meet her there. He meets her at the hospital because in the C plot, Jonathan is working on the tractor alone, and it falls on his leg and breaks his leg, and so he has to go to the hospital. And this causes also a rift between him and Martha because she feels like because she's taken this job with Lionel that it's, kind of spread, he's forced to do things on his own, and, she even contemplates quitting the job, which she does not yet, but, yeah. So, alright. So, before I get to anything else, I need to talk about the Lex plot, because it comes out of nowhere, because so, the opening to this episode is at the school, the pre-title sequence, you want to call it, it's not James Bond, but and it's Ian, first of all, this teacher, no, I'm not defending Ian that he did what he should have done, but this teacher's a dick. Alright, first of all, it starts with Clark he made an S in shop class out of metal, and he's like, Clark, why an S? He goes, well, it's the Smallville logo. Also, wink nudge, S Superman, wink nudge. And he's like, well, this is wrong with it, this is wrong with it, this is wrong with it. And then Pete's like, well, yeah, you should have used the candle holder. Good old faithful. And then he goes over to Ian, and Ian has made this thing. I don't know what it was that he made, but can't even say it looks good, but he's like, oh, this is shoddy workmanship, it's terrible. And he's like, well, you're not going to mark me down for this. And he's like, I'm going to give you the grade you deserve. He ends up giving him a C, but this guy is a dick. I'm pretty sure this guy did it on purpose. I don't know about purpose, but he's just like, he's one of those teachers where you have to make it absolutely perfect. Now, Pete's looks like a store-bought thing that he bought from a hobby shop. But that, apparently he passed from that. And we see that Ian can now split himself into two, and he kills the guy. And we find his body later. Anyway, I said that part because we go from that, in his opening credits, somebody save me, all the credits, stuff like that. And then we started the episode proper with Lex coming out of the Talon, I think. And the meter maid, who's an actor, one of those actors you've seen other things, but you can't really picture where you saw him. One of those guys, he's giving a ticket. He goes, I was only in there for like 5 minutes. He goes, well, ticket, and, basically tells Lex off, basically. He's like, oh, you spoiled rich people. Why is it always the rich people who make a huff? That doesn't make any sense. First of all, I feel like the rich people, wouldn't get a huff. Like, oh, it's nothing. Throw a couple $100 at him. But, Lex has a point. He was in there for 5 minutes. Barely any time, And then he gets I don't drive, so I've never had this problem. But I'm pretty sure I wouldn't solve it like Lex did. He takes a 9-iron to the meter maid's car. Yeah. I forgot that was this episode. I was like, holy shit, I forgot about that. I can't wait to watch the podcast episode on this. I need to know Michael Rosenbaum's opinion, and if he remembers doing that, or I just need his reaction if he remembers doing that. So I need to. I'm trying to get the whole disc done today, so we'll see. So this leads to the plot where, he goes to the hospital to see Jonathan Kent. And he's all like, oh, I'm going to pay for whatever he needs, and, I'll get the best medical treatment, all that stuff. Which, Lex is going a little too far here with that, but she's like, typical rich person. And then he has to go to anger management class. And Helen also shows up. And she claims that she's there because she dropped kicked an orderly. Now, I'm saying claims because I don't know, there's a story with her. This is not the last time we see her, And also, this is also the first episode where Chloe and Lana are moving in together. And so Clark is like, oh, hey, actually, my mom's coming home early and she's in help with the chores, so I don't need to go, so you guys want to hang out? And Chloe's like, well, I have to go at the tour. She's like, oh, yeah, I have to take a shift at the Talon. And I'm like, but Chloe's dad just said he was making dinner. Mikasa is su casserole. But they're taking off. I was very confused. Well, they're just going to throw the stuff in the bedroom and then unpack it later. And then we start to see Ian. Ian is there with Chloe. He asks for an interview, and they're at the Talon and stuff. And then all of a sudden he's flirting with Lana. And now there could be a little bit of jealousy in Clark, but he's trying to protect him. He sees this. He knows that Ian's supposed to go on a date with Chloe, with going Lana. I'm confused too. Because it feels like... So, we see Ian leave. Does he go home, split in two, and then come back? Where does he go that he splits in two and then come back? I don't know, but he's... Yeah. And I know they did it to represent there's two of them, but Chloe would have seen them. She starts to drive away, just as Lana and the other Ian come out. She would have seen them in a rearview mirror. Or something. And I guess maybe she's not paying attention, but it just doesn't make sense. She wouldn't have. So, Clark and Pete, as Pete roped into this, they start to investigate. Because the teacher, that was, being a hard ass on Ian, he hasn't shown up, and so they start to investigate. They find his dead body. Body falls on Pete, and it's very hokey. It's like, see, digging around, there's nothing here. See, Pete, see, Clark, digging around, there's nothing here, digging around, and all of a sudden the body falls on him. It's like they waited too long with that teasing thing. And then Ian is there to light the place on fire, and they do a thing where, So it's very weird because Then the very next scene, Clark is at Chloe's. He sees them making out, and he's like, he just tried to, he killed the teacher and tried to set me and Pete on fire. And he's like, what? When was this? Like 20 minutes ago. She's like, whoa, stop. He's been here all night. And I'm like, Clark, why did it take you 20 minutes to get there? You have super speed. Now, I know that he couldn't have super sped there and then said, 5 minutes ago, you know, and they'd be like, well, 5 minutes, the school's more than 5 minutes. I know that. But, still, 20 minutes is enough to get from the school to Chloe's. Then, of course, we find out he's been there for 3 hours. So we know, the viewers at home know that there's two of them. Now there's two of them. So, you know, we're in the know here. So I haven't talked much about the Jonathan angle. He is determined to not stop doing stuff. Like, he comes downstairs and he's like, well, I slept in at 6 o'clock. That's long enough. I need chores to do. And Cole's like, I did all the chores. I did everything. Did you do this? Yeah, I did that. Did you do this, this, and this? Yes, I did it all. And he goes to go outside and he's like, Dad, the couch is that way. He goes, I can do just as much greasing the bearings on the tractor as I can sitting on the couch. And then later there's a scene where he's balancing the checkbook, so to speak, to see if they can get by without her extra Lucicorp paycheck, which we know the answer is no. But she's gonna, you know, but he's like, no, I'm not mad that you have this job. It just, you know, it's gonna take some getting used to, I guess, you know. But, Clark tries something smart with Ian that ultimately gets both Lana and Chloe in hot water, because he and Pete designed this thing where they page Ian at the same time as Lana and Chloe to go to different places, with one meeting Chloe at her place at 5:30 and the other meeting Lana at the Talon at 5:30, which of course neither of them are there. Lana is going to talk to Chloe at this point at the Talon. Not Talon, the Torch. And at this point, something is screwy. She expects that it's Ian. And she's like, oh, Ian was coming by to do another interview. And I'm like, so why did he go to her house? So was they were supposed to meet there and he thinks she changed it to go to her house, I guess? I know that Clark sent him there, but they confirm that it's both of them, and he tries to call Chloe, but of course Chloe's not answering because she can't answer, so that this can go down. He shows up, and he starts to believe that they set him up because they have talked, and they realize that he's playing both of them, and so he thinks they set him up, and then he sets some weird suicide note. They can't handle it. They're both going to jump off of the dam, which is the same dam where Eric Summers took Clark's powers. So, and there is a connection, believe it or not. In season 3, there's an episode that connects those two. So that is kind of a connection here, the dam. But, so yeah, there's a struggle on the dam. The double falls to his death, but Ian is not dead. The real Ian is still there. Still alive. He is not dead because he comes back. But, and then in the end scene, there is a scene where Lex tries to ask out Helen. She says no, but there's something between them. Without going into spoilers, something does happen between them. But, yes. Anyway, yes, again. I don't know, it's Lex Luthor. Anyway, So Chloe and Lana have decided that they are both going away from Clark. Well, for Lana, for one of them, okay, for Lana, that takes about 5 minutes to go away. I don't know. But, yeah, this episode was fine. I'm gonna give it 3.5 Superman logos out of 5. I think it was a decent one. That Lex doing the Minimed shit was hitting Minimed's car with that 9 iron was funny as hell. But yeah, it was interesting to go back and watch. We are getting inching ever so closely to another pinpoint landmark episode in this season, but it's not the next episode, unfortunately. I can't even think off the top of my head what the next episode is, actually. We shall find out. I'm pretty sure I'll press play and be like, oh, yeah, that one. But, so, what are your thoughts on the episode? Leave a comment, so much like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.